On today's edition of Locked On SEC, JT Daniels heading to the transfer portal, what that means for the future of Georgia football and where he's most likely to end up. MVP of the Duke's Mayo Bowl, South Carolina wide receiver / quarterback Dakereon Joyner will join us to talk about his incredible performance in the bowl game and what he's looking ahead to, what should be an exciting future for the Gamecocks. Locked On SEC starts right now.
You are Locked On SEC, your daily podcast on the Southeastern Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is happening, everybody? Welcome into Locked On SEC. Great to have you guys along. Today's episode is brought to you by Sonos. Experience the game like never before with the Sonos Arc, the premium smart soundbar for TV, movies, music, gaming, and more. Visit Sonos.com to learn more. I'm Chris Gordy. Thank you guys for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On SEC is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube and at LockedOnSEC.com. Let's jump into it. Plenty to discuss. Let's go around the conference.
Boots out to the right. Takes the handoff. What a catch!
Around the conference.
And we start over in Athens as JT Daniels is expected to remove himself from the suddenly very crowded Georgia quarterback room and enter the transfer portal. This comes from Mike Griffith of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution's Dog Nation. JT Daniels, who started the season as Georgia's starting quarterback, missed time because of oblique and lat injuries, and then watched the Georgia coaching staff stick with Stetson Bennett down the stretch. Even after JT recovered from the injuries and resumed practicing, it was Stetson Bennett's job, and ultimately he led Georgia to a national championship. Bennett has made comments that seem to indicate he has interest in returning next season ahead of law school, but Georgia also has Carson Beck on the roster, five-star freshman Brock Vandagriff, and they just added another big-time recruit in Gunnar Stockton. So some big names in that room, and JT Daniels just kind of feels like the odd man out. The Dogs are also in the mix for transfer Caleb Williams from Oklahoma. As Mike Griffith noted, Daniels looks to be the first domino to fall, but likely not the last in that crowded Bulldogs quarterback room. Daniels was Georgia's starter for 3 games, played in 6 games overall. USC transfer, passed on the NFL last year to come back for another season. Was expecting to lead the Bulldogs, but ultimately he will be on the move. As for his teammate, Stetson Bennett, last week he was working a shift as an employee at Raising Cane's in Athens and taking advantage of his national championship win and living in the limelight. He tweeted out that he was a Caniac ambassador for the day and shared a picture of him working the drive-thru and said, "That'll be $33.18. Of course, the 33-18 reference to the score of the national championship win over Alabama. But last week, he was taking orders, talking with customers, working alongside actual Canes employees who jokingly asked him if he was more nervous to do that than play quarterback in the national title game. He took selfies with customers who appeared shocked to see the Georgia star quarterback working the drive-thru. So kind of a fun story there. Speaking of the Georgia Bulldogs, one of their more vocal members of their defense, starting edge rusher Nolan Smith, whose sack was the final play of the national championship game, officially announced his plans for next season. He is coming back. Nolan Smith will be a part of a defense that will have a couple of other key returnees, including Keely Ringo and safety Christopher Smith. Nolan Smith is the leading returning tackler after he led the Bulldogs with 2 tackles for a loss in the national championship. Also had 3 quarterback hurries and that sack on Bryce Young. Nolan Smith played in 14 of 15 games, finished with 9 tackles for lost yardage, which was second on the team. 3.5 of those coming on quarterback sacks, along with 27 quarterback pressures. So that is a big name for the Bulldogs to be getting back. Now, across the conference, other names, Alabama linebacker Christian Harris, he officially declared for the draft on Monday. He's a 3-year starter for the Tide. Ended the year on a strong note, had 7 tackles and 3 sacks in the national title game. He's a potential first-round pick. So yet another big name gone from the Alabama defense that they will need to rework and retool moving ahead. Meanwhile, the Volunteers, wide receiver Javonta Payton, he declared for the draft officially. Averaged close to 23 yards per reception this season, leading all SEC receivers. He was Hendon Hooker's go-to deep threat. So Javonta Payton heading to the NFL. We'll look forward to seeing what he does at the next level. He's the 6th Volunteer to declare for the draft so far. Some other news around the conference. Auburn's Alec Jackson, a veteran O-lineman, has announced his plans for next year. He is coming back for another year. He took to Instagram to write, "Year 6, why not?" He's 6'5", 223 pounds, moved to guard recently after he primarily was an offensive tackle, but he began his Auburn career on the defensive side of the ball. His news is the latest development for Auburn after the Tigers recently learned that center Nick Brahms and tackle Austin Troxell will be back for next season. Auburn earlier lost Brodarius Ham to the NFL draft. Brandon Council is out of eligibility, and Tayshawn Manning, who transferred to Kentucky, on the line. Over at Arkansas, they got some news as Cade Fortin, a former South Florida quarterback who initially transferred from North Carolina, he is on the move again, and he is going to Arkansas. He shared the message on social media. He said, "I'm grateful for the opportunity to continue to play the game I love. Let's go Razorbacks." He was originally from the state of Georgia, played in 5 games this year for the South Florida Bulls. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions with 183 yards passing. Speaking of Arkansas, they're picking up an LSU defensive back in Dwight McGlothern. The former LSU cornerback announced his commitment Sunday night. It's the 2nd edition for Arkansas secondary. McGlothern committed to Arkansas originally, became the Razorbacks' 4th incoming transfer this offseason. He tweeted out, "I will miss my LSU teammates. Love them dudes." Played 9 games for LSU this year, made 32 tackles. Speaking of LSU, they're picking up a punter from the transfer portal. Notre Dame punter Jay Bramlett entered the transfer portal about 2 weeks ago, and now he will follow his former head coach Brian Kelly from Notre Dame down to LSU. He launched a career-long 72-yard punt in their win over Wisconsin. It was the longest punt by an Irish player since 1998. In his final game in the Fiesta Bowl, he had 7 punts for 291 yards. That's almost a 42-yard average. So good pickup there for LSU in the portal. Speaking of LSU as well, Cortez Hankton, LSU made it official that he has been named their wide receivers coach, leaving Georgia after winning the national championship. Coach Brian Kelly said he's very excited to have Cortez Hankton on the staff. Spent the past 4 years at Georgia, where he was part of 3 SEC division titles. Another player on the move in the transfer portal, Osiris Torrance, who is a veteran O-lineman for the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. He announced his commitment on Monday to Florida. He was a 3-year starter on the O-line, 2-time All-Sun Belt performer, so he will follow his former head coach and Billy Napier down to Florida. He's 6'5", 335 pounds, played in 11 games this past season, so nice pickup there for Billy Napier and his staff. And Napier's continuing to fill out his staff. He's now reportedly found an inside linebackers coach from the ACC. Former North Carolina defensive coordinator Jay Bateman is headed to Florida as the inside linebackers coach. That's from Pete Thamel of ESPN. And lastly, the college basketball poll came out on Monday, and a lot of people thought Auburn was going to be the number 1 team. Well, they got 4 points away from their first ever number 1 AP basketball ranking. 59% of voters had Auburn ahead of Gonzaga for the number 1 team in the country, but one single voter put Auburn at number 9, and that tanked their chances at number 1. Gary Parrish of CBS Sports tweeted out, "Look, Auburn isn't number 1 in the AP poll, mostly because this guy, Jesse Newell from Kansas City, voted the Tigers 9th. It's his ballot. I'll let him defend it. But if he would have merely put Auburn in the top 4, like 59 of the 60 other AP voters did, Auburn would be the number 1 team for the first time in school history in the AP poll." So, look, Auburn basketball, they'll just use this as extra motivation. They've been outstanding. In my opinion, they should be the number 1 team, but Gonzaga voted in as number one. And there you have it. That is around the conference. When we return, Dakereon Joyner, MVP of the Duke's Mayo Bowl, South Carolina wide receiver / quarterback, is going to join us. You don't want to miss that. Of course, BetOnline, they would like to wish you guys a happy new betting year as we continue on through the NFL playoffs. And, of course, plenty of SEC basketball action as well. And BetOnline, they remain your number one spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. It's a new year, a new updated desktop and mobile website. Sign up today, and you can receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON to get started. From football to basketball, hockey, UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way for you to bet on all your favorite sports. Again, from SEC basketball to big NFL playoff games happening this weekend. You don't want to miss any of the action. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. Roll along here, Locked On SEC, and we've been catching up with a lot of different SEC guys throughout this, officially now the offseason with the national championship in the rearview mirror. And one guy who made a big name for himself just a couple weeks ago, MVP of the Duke's Mayo Bowl, as South Carolina beat up on North Carolina, and a lot of positive vibes going for the South Carolina Gamecocks as we look ahead to 2022. And the guy who was, as I mentioned, the MVP of that game, Dakereon Joyner from South Carolina, joins us now. Dakereon, what's going on, man?
That was good, man. How you doing?
We're doing good, man. Take me back. I want to go back a little bit in your career, heading into your redshirt senior season in Columbia now. Take us back to coming out of high school. You were a pretty big-time quarterback in high school, and when you got to South Carolina, you were a quarterback, and in your second season, you made that transition to wide receiver. But what initially made you want to make that transition from quarterback to wide receiver?
Man, I gotta go way back. Like I said, like you actually said, I came in college as a very highly recruited quarterback. I'm the 8th dual threat quarterback in the country. Had offers from everywhere. But kind of skipping forward to my transition to wide receiver, I was in a quarterback battle with Ron Helinski going into my redshirt freshman year, 2019. I lost the backup job to Ron Helinski. In the time frame of that, kind of put me in a position where I couldn't transfer. It was a week before our first game. It was actually the week before we played North Carolina in 2019 at the Panther Stadium, which was crazy. So I was kind of in a position where I kind of had to make a decision. Would I opt out that year, kind of just want to play? Me being a competitor, I redshirted the year before, so I wanted to play. I just told coach to find a way to get me on the field, man. You know what I'm saying? I wanted the ball in my hands. And then right after that game, our starting quarterback, Jake Bentley, broke his foot. So that put me in a position where I had to go back to quarterback because I already had made the transition to receiver. And with Jake Bentley getting hurt, I had to go back to back to quarterback. And I kind of split time throughout that whole year, both at quarterback and receiver, split time with Ryan Helinski. Just kind of that whole year kind of went back and forth. Every game I did both. So that's how that got started.
How frustrating, I guess, has it been for you these last 3 years? Like you talked about bouncing back and forth. And then on top of it, I mean, you guys, you had 3 different guys playing quarterback this year. And as a receiver, I got to think it's hard to get on the same page with consistency where you got a different guy under center every week.
Yeah, for sure. For me personally, this road has definitely been frustrating. But I'm blessed, man. I can't complain. I just throughout my career, I just had to just kind of find a way to persevere. I never had a stable, I've never been in a stable position where I feel like I can mainly focus on one position the whole entire year. I was going to say for the 2021 season, that kind of was going that way. But even spurts throughout this past year, I had to, an injury happened to a quarterback, and I had to go back for a second, and even the bowl game situation. So I haven't really stably been at one position for a whole entire year. You know what I'm saying? So right now I'm trying to focus on being able to just develop myself in this offseason, to be prepared to do anything right now. You know what I'm saying? So just trying to prepare myself this offseason so I can be the best fit for my team in 2022.
You're a guy who's not only got it done on the field, but also in the classroom. I know you won the Harold White GPA award. You've won the Unselfish Teammate award in the past. I assume you've probably graduated at this point? How important has been being focused on in the classroom as much as being focused on the field as you have been the last couple of years?
I mean, for me, it's kind of natural. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a guy, my mother and my family pushes education more than anything. I grew up in a household where my mom always said, no man can ever take an education away from you. And that was priority for me going to college, getting my college degree. And I was blessed enough and fortunate enough to be able to handle that. But education is everything to me, man. You can't play football forever. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have something to fall back on.
Take us through preparation for the Duke's Mayo Bowl against North Carolina, because I remember leading up to it, we were hearing the reports, Zeb Nolan's going to start. Okay, it's back to Zeb Nolan. So many people, I'm seeing all the experts out there picking North Carolina's going to win and all this kind of stuff. When did the coaching staff kind of approach you and say, hey, we want you to play some quarterback in this one? And then how did you guys keep it a secret? Because nobody was talking about it.
Man, listen, for myself, it was it was very different for me because I think December 13th might have been maybe early December. It was our first bowl practice. And my coaches came up to me, and matter of fact, he didn't even come up to me. He just told me in meetings, yeah, DK, you're going to be repping with the ones at quarterback today. I'm like, all right. I kind of scratched my head. All right, I guess that's what it is. So the first day went by. I was playing some receiver, but I was mainly playing quarterback that day. And the next day in practice, I went up to Coach Stepp, my receiver coach. I'm like, Coach, I said, they ain't going to adopt me at quarterback for the bowl game, right? He's like, nah, that's not going to happen. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take your word for it. 2 days later, I think that's when Spencer Rattler committed and Jason Brown transferred. So when Jason transferred, the quarterback room was pretty slim. So, Coach Satt really didn't say anything to me. He was just more and more as the days went by, I was getting more reps. And maybe about a week before the game, he said, I want you to understand this. He said, you're not a receiver this game. He said, you're starting at quarterback. And I'm like, oops, like, dang, I guess I am starting for real. And just to think about it, I was kind of like, it was definitely nerve-wracking for me because I haven't started a game like at quarterback my whole career since high school. So this was going to be my first start in a bowl game at the Panther Stadium. So big stage, you know what I mean? North Carolina versus South Carolina. So I'm like, good Lord. So I guess I got to be prepared. But, man, the preparation throughout was pretty smooth, man, because my teammates helped me. My teammates know my story. My teammates know I still can play the position. And even for myself, making plays throughout practice, those few weeks, those few days, it gave my self-confidence. And I was like, okay, I'm back in my groove now. You know what I'm saying? And that first touchdown play that I threw, it may have been like the third play, fourth play of the game. We had that rep since we knew we were gonna call that like 5 days before the game. So in my mind, every day I'm playing like, bro, I'm like, if I hit this, I'm gonna be in my groove. So, and the opportunity came and I ran with it. So it was exciting, man.
Yeah, I'll say you ran with a perfect 9 for 9 passing on the day, over 160 yards. You mentioned that long 69-yard touchdown pass to Jaheim Bell, a breakout game for him as well. He had a nice game against Vandy this year, but he proved he could be a big weapon too. I just look at it and go, man, you guys have so many pieces, young pieces that, it could next season could really be special for you guys.
Most definitely. I think a lot of people are starting to see that with the addition that we're getting. I think a lot of people are starting to buy into the coach or Coach Beamer is building. We're getting a lot of transfers, getting a lot of commits and stuff like that. But Jaheim Bell played really well. A guy that's going to be a great weapon for us going forward. But, yeah, like I said, Coach is building a great culture, and a lot of people are starting to buy into it.
All right, more with Dakereon Joyner right after this. It is the new year, and that means that you need to start making some better health decisions and choices out there. So why not reach for a Built Bar? Put them in your plan to get healthier this new year. Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, but maybe even better than a candy bar. Built Bar makes it easier for you to stick to your resolutions because it tastes so good, you'll actually want to eat it. Unlike other protein bars that can be chalky or waxy or taste like a chemical spill, you will want to eat healthy and you will want to eat a Built Bar. By like week 3, you're going to be thinking, this is just not worth it. Where's the chocolate when you're eating healthy? Built Bars are fun because they're covered in 100% real chocolate. And again, doesn't even taste like you're eating something healthy. Many Built Bars contain 130 calories, 4 grams sugar, 4 grams net carbs, but 17 grams of protein packed in there. plenty different flavors to choose from the mint brownie to salted caramel, cookies and cream. What are you waiting for? Go to built.com right now. Use our promo code LOCKED15. Get 15% off your first order. Again, use our promo code LOCKED15. Get 15% off at built.com. Start making healthier choices with Built Bar. Continue our conversation with Dakereon Joyner from South Carolina. And Dakereon, we were just talking about after the bowl game, you were named MVP of the Duke's Mayo Bowl. You got emotional after the game. That video went viral. People said, don't say these bowl games don't matter to these guys' plans. Obviously, it does. How much did your phone blow up after that?
Man, I had over 400 text messages. I gained thousands of followers. I mean, it was just I've never seen anything like it before, man. But I was so grateful and thankful, man. Like towards the end of the game, it felt like a dream. Even when they told me I was getting an MVP before the game ended, like it all felt like a dream, man. Because this is stuff you dream of. A kid out of Charleston, South Carolina, where much doesn't happen out of. It was just a blessing to be an opportunity, man.
Where's the trophy now?
The trophy is actually at my house in Columbia. I'm in the process of getting the jersey. My cleats, the newspaper, and my towel actually framed right now. So I'm in the process of getting that. I'm going to take it to my mother's house. So that's the plan.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and hopefully you'll have more to add to that wall of future.
Most definitely.
Really, really nice games. I also got to bring this up. Did I see that your performance actually, you have your website, can'tstopcinco.com, and I know you have t-shirts on there. Did I see you were like so overwhelmed with orders you had to like send a message out and be like, guys, we'll get to you. But like it must seem like everybody went to the website to buy your t-shirts.
Man, listen, but it was a great job by my team, and I just kind of like it was perfect timing for me just to put my website out like right after the game, and it was crazy. I think people are just now getting all their orders. Like I said, I'm thankful, man. It was a blessing. But my guy Brent, who does all my work, he's out there in North Dakota. I know he was very overwhelmed, but like I thank him a lot. I'm very appreciative for him just helping me keep my business going. And then with the snow situation up north, in the North Dakota area, like the freight trains, the freight trucks and stuff like that were kind of behind. So people's shirts were getting behind. I had to let people know like they're coming. I promise they're coming. You know what I'm saying? But I was grateful for people shopping, man.
It is kind of cool though with the NIL. I mean, this is something you weren't able to do a couple years ago, right? I mean, having NIL deals, and I mean, you as a student athlete, it kind of gives you a little bit more incentive now to like staying in school is actually kind of cool because you can profit now where before you couldn't.
Right, for sure. It definitely has been a blessing and a curse at itself. You just got to be able to handle it the right way, use it the right way, and network the right way, just to kind of benefit you, but also not just personally for yourself, but find a way to give back to the community, find a way to get in tune with the people in the community, just kind of, you know what I'm saying, just to benefit everybody if you can. It's definitely been thankful and helpful.
All right, just to have a little fun here, I saw it was a little ridiculous. Pro Football Focus put out a list of best performances in bowl games, and they had North Carolina quarterback Sam Howell number one on their list. And no offense to Sam, but look, he didn't play great in that game. You guys got after him. He was sacked 4 times. I'm just saying, if we're talking, it wasn't even the best quarterback performance in that game because you had the better performance, but hey, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, it definitely is what it is. Shout out to Sam. Sam is my guy. He's going to have a great future, man, going forward, man. I'm looking forward to seeing him ball.
Well, let's talk about this coming year because you mentioned it already. Spencer Rattler is one of the biggest names out there when it comes to quarterbacks that were available through the transfer portal. You guys get him coming in. You get Christian Beal Smith coming in from Wake Forest. You get Austin Stogner from Oklahoma. You get a James Madison receiver and Antoine Wells coming in. I mean, this is a lot of big time talent that the transfer portal's making it where you guys are already taking a step forward and maybe ahead of schedule as far as Shane Beamer goes. But, man, these guys coming in make you guys one of the most dangerous teams in the SEC, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And like I said, I think a lot of people are starting to see that. Like we knew what we had in this room, not just in the room, but in our organization, man. We knew what we could do. Going into the season, people thinking we were going to win 2 games, and that's proving doubters wrong and winning 7. You know what I'm saying? But I think people are starting to see what we really can do. Guys starting to transfer in, a lot of guys starting to buy into the process. You know what I'm saying? But we have all the tools, you know what I'm saying, in our organization to do whatever we want to do to accomplish the most high things. We just got to continue to be humble, man, and just continue to stay grounded, keep grinding and stuff like that, and just do the right things. And I believe that the 22-year will take care of itself.
Are you going to go back to the wide receiver room, or are you going to stay in the quarterback room? Where are you going now?
You want me to be honest? I really don't know. I haven't even sat down and talked with my coaches yet. Like, I don't know what the plan is. Like people ask me in public all the time. I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we start workouts tomorrow. I'm just going in and just doing my thing, preparing myself for both as I go in and train like this off season. I'm just gonna train myself for both, because you never know. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
With me blessed enough to have this opportunity and just this gift from God to be able to play both positions, you know what I'm saying? A lot of guys can't do it effectively. I'm very grateful. So I just feel like I got to stay tuned up and hopefully be a Taysom Hill. You know what I'm saying? Going forward my career and stuff like that. So.
You're a South Carolina guy, but look, let's be honest. I mean, there's movement all over the place. Have you considered transfer portal at all? Is that something you'll wait to see how the spring goes, or and you don't have to give an answer? I mean, but just, there's a lot of movement. Have you at least thought about it?
I mean, I've seen a lot of guys go through it. It definitely is, it's beneficial to some people and not beneficial to some people. You know what I'm saying? So it has its pros and its cons. I mean, everybody in the country knows it's there. But I'm a guy that I might let everything take care of itself, and I'm just gonna do my job, continue to stay prayed up, give all the glory to God, and whatever God has planned for me, has planned for me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna continue to go about my day every single day, do what's asked of me from my coaches and my teammates, and just be the best version of myself every single day.
All right, now I know there was a guy you went up against in high school playoffs, I believe, and your team whipped up on his team, Channing Tindall from the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, he got the best of you this season with a hit when you guys played Georgia. He knocked your helmet off. Did he put a little extra mustard on that hit or what?
He didn't, but me knowing Channing, like, that goes, oh, you got it right there. But I guess that was get back for how I did him going back to high school, because we used to tear him up in the playoffs. Like, I think we played him twice in high school. But Channing is my guy. I'm so happy for him. He's also my fraternity brother, Kappa Alpha Psi. So our relationship is great. You know what I'm saying? We go way, way back since high school, but I'm happy for him, man. He's a guy that has tremendous upside. A guy that's athleticism is rare that you see in linebackers. I'm very happy for him, and shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs for bringing that home for the SEC.
Did you did you have a rooting interest in the game last week? I mean, were you rooting for Alabama? Were you rooting for Georgia?
I was going for Georgia. And let me tell you why I was going for Georgia. People were telling me that, why won't you go with Alabama? I said, listen, it's hard to bet or hard to go against a team when you played versus them. You know what I'm saying? I know how those guys play. You know what I'm saying? I know how aggressive they are and how physical they are and all the attributes. So, I mean, I was pulling for Georgia. I can say I was pulling for Georgia, man. SEC East, I had to.
Yeah, and look, I threw it out there. You're talking about the last 3 years now, Dakereon. You've got LSU won in 2019, Bama won in 2020, Georgia won in 2021. It's time for somebody else to take a turn in the SEC. It only makes sense if South Carolina jumps up there in 2020.
Oh, for sure. And that's our plan. That's our goal. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue to pursue that goal. Continue to just attack that. We know that's the end goal, but we got to take care of all the things in between that to get there.
Just a couple more for you real quick. I saw you guys were honored at the basketball game this past weekend. Saw you taking some pictures with some fans. That had to be cool to be there with Coach Shane Beamer and them kind of singling you out in your performance in the bowl game, but to do it in front of the whole crowd at the basketball game.
Yeah, I mean, I was very grateful for that, man. That was a great experience, man. Thankful for the fans, man. Our fans have been waiting a while for something very positive to come back to the city of Columbia, and we're blessed and fortunate enough to be able to handle that. I was telling my family after the game that was the first time I might have took like 70 pictures with people after the game. Like, a lot of people wanted, I'm serious, man. A lot of people wanted to come up and take pictures with me and just kind of show me love. And I was very grateful for that, man, because, like, people knew me before, people would say something when I go out, but now it's reached a whole nother level where, like, it's crazy. But I'm thankful and I'm grateful for it, man. I have fans, I have people that support me and love my story. You know what I'm saying? And just want to continue to be that positive outlet for everybody and anybody else, you know what I'm saying, that may be going through challenging times or some kind of adversity, just to keep going, man. Continue to pursue what your dreams are. So,
yeah, pretty soon you got to be like, all right, look, $5 per autograph, photo, whatever. Just a quick thought on a couple guys. I saw Kevin Harris, Quandary Wright. They're both going to the next level. Kevin Harris, man, for him to bounce back from injury and perform like he did in the last couple games. Thought that was great for him because, man, 2 years ago, he's the best rusher in the SEC. And I know he fought so hard to try to get back to where he was. Zaquandre had a fantastic year. He's off as well. Just talk about that running back room, because I think you guys still are going to have some Juju McDowell. I mean, some really talented pieces back there.
Yeah, for sure. Kevin and Zaquandre brought two different attributes to our running, our rushing style. Two great guys great people for one, but two great athletic ability that is going to go on and do great things. But like you said, like we got Marshawn Lloyd, Juju. We still got a lot of guys. Rashad Amos. That's some guys that's coming back. That's going to help us win a lot of football games. We got some transfers coming in as well. But that's one thing that we have our strong suit is our running back room is very talented, man. And those guys are going to help us win a lot of games.
Last thing for you, I really enjoyed when I watched South Carolina play this year. I love watching my guy Nick Muse as a blocker out there. I don't know if there's a better tight end blocker in the SEC than Nick Muse was. Do you have any good Nick Muse stories? Because he's a little out there sometimes.
Well, I have Nick Muse stories. I got a whole lot of Nick Muse stories that I probably can't share, man. But Nick Muse is my guy. Like nobody would probably guess that me and Nick would probably be the closest on the team. Nobody would guess that at all. But Nick is my guy, man. You talking about a guy that lays it on the line for his teammates, a guy that just the ultimate guy. You know what I'm saying? That you'll want in your program. He's a guy that holds me to the highest standard. Never gives me props. You talking about in workouts, like we do everything together. You talking about a guy that's in the building first, out last, finish the workout first, do it effectively. That's him all day long. He's going to play a very, very long time in the National Football League and on Sundays because just of his attributes, the way he carries himself. He's a pro. You know what I'm saying? But he's going to go on and have a great career and just do great things. I mean, it's going to be hard to replace a guy like him. So.
Well, he is Dakereon Joyner. Let me remind everybody again, the website, can'tstopcinco.com. That's your website.
Yeah,
can they order T-shirts now? Did you get a replenishment in?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can go shop however you want, how much ever you want. They're available shirts on all sizes. You got masks, shoes, sweatshirts. And I'm also coming out with a new T-shirt. I'm actually working on an MVP shirt right now that I'm working on, trying to get that figured out right now that I'm going to release to the public. So go get that, man.
I guess do you have like all the Duke's Mayo you could ever want for the rest of your life now?
I definitely do. I got Duke Mayo for days. So it was kind of funny. My brother stays with me at my house in Columbia, and he went grocery shopping, and I came back yesterday and I see Duke's Mayo. I'm like, I've never, ever, ever seen you eat Duke's Mayo before. He's like, I guess it is time now. So I guess my family eats Duke Mayo now. I guess no more Hemmings.
I love it. That's great stuff. Dakereon, thanks so much for the time, man. Best of luck to you next season. And again, congrats on the success. It was one of the best stories of the bowl season, and excited to see what you guys could do, man. I mean, the Beamer ball era is taking off, and the arrow is pointed upward, and the sky is the limit for you guys, man. Best of luck next season.
For sure, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right. That is Dakereon Joyner of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Appreciate him joining us. That is just about going to do it for this edition of Locked On SEC. Again, thanks to Dakereon Joyner. We'll be back tomorrow right here for an all-new edition of Locked On SEC. Thank you guys so much for making us your first listen every day. Now go make your second listen. Check out the Locked On Bets podcast with your boy Q and Lee Sterling. I'm Chris Gordy. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow right here on Locked On SEC.